Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Here we are again, another week, another edition of Hidden Tracks. Today I have Matt and Federica of the awesome band Phantom Handshakes, and I'm not going to do a disservice of genre labeling. I'm going to let them do that themselves. So welcome to the show, Matt and Federica. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So I'll pose the question because you each may have a different answer. So I'll start with Federica. What would, since we're in the world of genres and subgenres and sub-genres, what would you label Phantom Handshakes as?
I will label it as a dream pop project, as well as jangle pop, and in general, more like indie pop. Yeah.
How about you, Matt?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I would label it exactly. Elements of shoegaze, I like to say dream gaze, but definitely kind of jangly indie pop. Kind of like a little of everything, like kind of a mix of those elements.
So let's get to your story. I mean, you both were in other bands. I don't want to take away from your story. I'd rather hear your story, and our listeners would rather hear your story of how you guys came together and how everything worked out to the creation of Phantom Handshakes. Why don't you could have conflicting reports, but Matt, why don't you tell me your take on your meetup?
I think we both kind of have the same take on it. I think like a lot of bands that started recently, it was from the lockdown, from the pandemic last year. We were both in Brooklyn, playing in different bands. We each played in bands around Brooklyn, and when the lockdown happened, I started recording stuff just at home, kind of to pass the time. It was like the first few months of lockdown when we all thought it was going to be like 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so everyone's like, oh, I'll record, my, like a little bedroom pop album at home, and just put it out on Bandcamp or something. So, I was just recording ideas and needed a singer cause I'm, not one, and, put out an ad on Craigslist, and Federica answered it. And it just so happened, like, we knew, each other's bands that we played in, and it, just clicked. We started working on the songs together, and that's really how it started.
So you both were playing in bands, and Federica, so we can tell by your accent, and I can tell by your bio, you're not from Brooklyn.
No.
So how was it to intertwine and get into a band and work in a band in Brooklyn, and then meet up with Matt and start something else as well?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question right. I think. What's the question again? Sorry.
So how did you first get into a band in Brooklyn, and then decide to, when that was during the pandemic, to listen to Matt's stuff and answer his Craigslist?
So yes, I moved here to New York in like 2015. At the end of 2015, I had bands back in Italy, but of course I couldn't be in Italian bands anymore since I moved here. I started looking for bands on Craigslist, and I found Sooner, which is my other band. And then I played for them, I'm still playing with them for years. But then somehow during pandemic, we stopped really playing, of course, playing music, but also like producing music in general. And I really need something to do during the pandemic because I was not working. And so I looked on Craigslist and I found Matthew. And I start since then working with him. And I'm very happy about it.
Well, I'm happy you guys met because I love what you're doing. And I love my life is spent on Bandcamp just searching for new music. And it was one of those things that popped up for me. And it was kind of it's hard to describe when you find something that you know the sound and you forgot all about it, and how it just brought me back to I'm older. I'm an old man now, so it brought me back to like the early 90s when finding bands that were out there. There was like Velocity Girl and that early shoegaze stuff with a great female vocalist, and getting back into that was like awesome for me to find you guys and hear something new. And immediately when I heard it, I was like, yeah, no, I'm all in. I pre-ordered your vinyl. Like I just went all in on it. And I was like, okay, got to have these guys on the show. And for me, finding music like that is amazing. And music always starts with a memory. It starts with the first thing you heard when music changed for you. Now, I'll start with Matt. Matt, when you were a small child and you heard something for the first time that wasn't a cartoon theme song, let's say, do you remember the first musical moment that you just said, wow, what is this?
I don't remember a specific moment, but it was probably like listening to my parents' albums. I'm going to say it was probably like a Simon and Garfunkel album, or a Beach Boys album, because we had a lot of those in the house. But yeah, I definitely, and I guess there was stuff on the radio, but yeah, I just remember, hearing like, that album, like Bookends, that Simon and Garfunkel album, and being, really drawn into it, just that sound, and listening to it on a record player in my parents' living room. It's not a specific memory. I might be making it up, I mean, but it chances are I was listening to a lot of my parents' records in the living room. Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel, Beach Boys, a lot of folky stuff, a lot of kind of classic rock stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I grew up. Sometimes I try to wash things out of my head too when it came to like the folky stuff. My dad was a huge Gordon Lightfoot fan, and I had to like push that away sometimes. But
Jim Croce also, I think.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Federica, do you remember the first time when you were a little kid and you heard music for the first time? Do you remember what music it was or the artist?
I was thinking that you guys are very lucky because your parents used to listen to good music. So I grew up in a family where music was not allowed, basically. My mom hated music. My dad never listened to music. They all only listened to a few, some maybe Queen, or maybe like Lucio Battisti, who is an Italian songwriter. But they were not into music. So I find myself fond of music when I was a teenager and I was watching MTV. And I think the first artist that I loved to just change my okay, girls can do music too was for sure Alanis Morissette and Cranberries. Those are the two bands that just woke up something inside me for sure.
It stoked that fire. That's awesome.
Yes.
Alanis Morissette, for as much pop crap as she gets from people, I mean, she really stoked a fire in a lot of female vocalists and was a shining light away from the sex symbol that was Madonna.
Absolutely.
To a girl rocker that said, hey, I can do this too. And that's awesome.
Yes. Totally, yes.
Now, if you were growing up in a household that, didn't have music, how did your parents take to you finding music and listening to what you wanted to listen to?
My parents were not very happy me playing guitar in my bedroom in general, and but at the end of the day, they accepted it, and that's it.
How did you get a guitar?
I bought it myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought it myself, and yes, I mean, I had a lot of fights with them because I want to listen to music. They didn't want to listen to my music. They always were saying that my music is sad. So, but I think the fact that I was, fighting them, it helped me like loving it even more, especially for a teenager girl, for sure. Yeah.
Now, how did you, after you heard music, Matt, how did you start to find your way to other things and find your own things that you liked to listen to?
I guess for me, I mean, it wasn't. There was always music in my house. My parents both played, like a little acoustic guitar, and my dad played a little like banjo. He's into bluegrass and stuff, and they always like, I don't know. I grew up in the suburbs of New Jersey, and we were always encouraged to like join the school band, and I played, you know, um, and I played trumpet in the school orchestra. And so I was always around music and really, I don't know. I liked writing, even like music pieces for like the school band. I took would take music classes, music composition classes. I didn't, I guess it was more I was in college. I'm older too. So by the time I got to college, that was sort of like the beginning of like the grunge, I think I was like a high school senior when I heard like Smells Like Teen Spirit. So I guess, from that point, and then you get into college and everyone's joining a band. So I think I just like decided I was going to like learn how to play bass because it kind of seemed like the easiest instrument to learn.
The four strings. Everybody sees that and thinks that four strings is the easiest, and it's not always the case.
Yeah, it's I think I took a bass lessons for like a few months and then kind of learned the basics and then just kind of, I don't know, tried to join some college bands. But definitely by then I was just around music and always, but I didn't really join any like band seriously until even years later. Once I like moved to Brooklyn and found other people to play with and started writing my own stuff, but I always would have, guitars around and just try to pick them up and learn what I can.
Do you remember the name of your first band that you were in?
Oh no. Oh, what was it? I mean, the first band that I was sort of seriously started was one with my brother. It was a really bad band name. It was called The Liability.
Okay.
I don't know why we called us that. That's that's like you're just asking for like a bad a bad press quote. You're like, well, this band's name, sure, they're a liability on any lineup they're on. I think we played like 3 shows, and that was about it for that one. But
now, Federica, how did you, if you were focused, I can tell, on trying to become something with playing guitar, buying it yourself, doing things like that. How did you find other people to play with, and how did you start playing out by yourself?
So I had my first cover band when I was in high school. So I started this band with classmates, and and then started from there. We did like a few shows, and I knew other people that play in my small town. So, and then nothing, just I start knowing more and more people, and that's it.
What was the name of your first band?
Well, I was trying to remember, but I can't remember. No, there's no way. I can't remember now.
Okay. One of the things I like to find out is now if you were walking down the street and met someone and you started talking briefly and you told them you were in a band and you wanted them to listen to your music, it might be different for either of you, but Matt, what song of yours would you play for them from Phantom Handshakes?
I would play Open Sore. I think that's like my favorite song that we've done from the first album, definitely.
Federica, what would you play?
I would play cricket songs because I like to play, like to strum it on my guitar. It's easy, and I like to sing it. Yeah.
Awesome. So with everything that transpired during the pandemic, which I'm so glad we're hopefully coming out of it, whatever, who knows. But creating music like that, what was it new for you, Matt, to create something like that, to start writing, record it, and send it out and have somebody work with you on that? Was that a new venture for you, a new trial and error, or had you done that before?
Yeah, it was new. Like, it was definitely new, something I didn't really do before. I started, like, I had another band that I had started with songs that I had written, and a lot of that would kind of start with just like home recordings that we would release. But once I had a full band, we would, kind of work on the songs as a band and try to go into a studio and record as a band. For this project, it's totally new in the sense that I would just record something on my home computer with just a few of my, instruments. I don't have like too much gear. I'm not really into like crazy pro recording gear. So I would just like record just kind of like a simple song with just some guitars and pedals, and then, sending it to Federica, and then she would add like so much to it, like her vocals and more instrumentations. And then we would just kind of work on the songs as a duo, and then we would just release them, which was like really kind of new and exciting for me, because it's like we were like, well, this is the kind of the sound we want that sort of lo-fi bedroom pop sound, so we don't have to take these demos and go into like a high-end recording studio and really shine them up or anything. So that was definitely new in the sense of like I could just kind of record an idea, and if Federica liked it, we would work on it together, and it would just become a song. It was like very easy and like very different from, I guess how a lot of bands would work. And we did the whole first album without ever meeting in person, which is a whole other thing. We would just send files back and forth. So yeah, all that was very new and different.
And Federica, was that the first time you recorded that way, or brought music to light that way?
I would say so, yes. Even though I am collaborating actually with some Italian bands and projects, and I have the same kind of approach because, of course, we live pretty far. So, and actually, I always loved doing it because I hate recording at a studio. It makes me very anxious. While in the house, I think I feel more at ease. I can just do whatever I like. I can record maybe just one word for 10 times without bothering anybody, and until I have what I like. And so I feel that I'm happier with this kind of music than any other music that I ever recorded, even professionally.
Now, when you say you enjoy that to be at home and do it. Trust me, I completely understand that. That is one of those anxiety things for me that I would rather do this, in a basement than in a studio with people behind a keyboard watching me and stuff. How does that translate for you though when you play live in a band? Do you feel that same way? Do you have anxiety about that, or are you once you step on stage you're like it's all gone?
Yeah, I think when I start playing, the anxiety goes away, which is good. But I'm sure I have like this, what a therapist told me, I have this anticipatory anxiety. So sometimes before a show, I have this very like a lot of anxiety. But I have to say that when I start playing and sing, and everything vanishes. Thank God.
Yeah, that's. How about you, Matt? Do you deal with any kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, I actually, I think I do. I mean, I always get kind of anxious about playing live. You know, like most of the bands that I played with in Brooklyn before Phantom Handshakes, I was playing bass. So again, not only is it, the easiest of the instruments to learn, but it's also, you could sort of stand in the back on the stage and not, be the front person. With this project, I'm playing guitar, so I'm kind of like trying to get more comfortable, like being up front a little more. Not that I'm the front person, but it's funny with when this project started and live music was, not we were all uncertain whether it was going to come back and in what shape and form. It's kind of a relief for me of like, well, this could be a nice, just like like a home lo-fi home, bedroom pop project kind of a thing where maybe we won't have to play these, songs live.
No one ever has to see me do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, it was kind of freeing when you're creating these songs because you're not really thinking about, well, how is this going to be arranged as a live, does it have to be kind of more rocking or something? Because a lot of these songs are kind of, in my mind, they're kind of these like simple, quiet songs. But we're getting back into it and playing live, so it's fun and exciting. And I love playing these songs live, so it's been good.
That's great. And I mean, does it take on a new life when you created it and not thinking about playing it live to having to go now perform it live? Does it change any of the song or any of the signatures that you created in the song?
I mean, I think
really, actually.
we're trying to keep it to that same vibe as how we recorded it. But now, we're playing with like, we're a 5-piece band. So and we have, some good friends and great musicians joining us on stage, and they're all bringing their own, element and vibe to the song. So that automatically changes it. But I think for the most part, um, you know, we're pretty happy with how the songs came out. Like, I think live we're kind of translating it the way we want it to be heard. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and now, so with you all being in different areas and trying to start to play again live, I mean, how does it work for you guys to practice or get together, or do you do it over Skype, or is there a formula to it?
No, we don't practice. It's easy.
We're still figuring
we don't
out.
practice,
Yeah.
so easy,
The first song is practice on stage.
Yes. We don't practice that much. We should practice more, probably. I should just practice with the band here. But the problem is that you have to coordinate everyone, and it's hard, to find a specific day because maybe somebody can do it, and it's very hard. But in general, I think that now that we know how to play them live, it's gonna be easier to practice for sure.
Yeah, and we kind of like we stick with the like yeah, we know the songs, we kind of know the arrangements and everything, and but yeah, it does make it hard because I moved out of Brooklyn and I'm in New Orleans now, so I can't fly back to Brooklyn once a week for Thursday night band practices.
Well, you should.
I should. I know. I need to write that into the band budget.
Yeah,
JetBlue tickets, but it's a new world we're all dealing with, so we're all kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, and that is the thing. Like, it's a new world, and with the new world, you figured out a way to create something new and put it out, and now you've figured out a way to try and perform it live, and everything. Through all the bad that everybody went through, there has been some great learning experiences that help you along the way, and in a band too. I mean, especially for a lot of bands out there that were either on tour or getting ready to go on tour, and all they ever knew was, being on the road for 160 days out of the year and writing an album to perform with that album. You kind of did entirely the opposite, which is, I'm sure just a new experience is cool to figure out, hey, this could be the way that we need to do things moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's so true what you say, because I mean, there used to be this sort of cycle where you would record an album and then release it and then tour the album, and yeah, I we had a lot of friends that had to cancel they were mid tour when the pandemic started, and then other friends that were releasing an album, that were set to release an album, in last May or whatever. And that whole sort of music industry cycle that we're all kind of like familiar with kind of just ended up just turning itself, inside out. And I think for us, it was kind of a nice thing where, we recorded 2 albums, in the last year. And now we're just kind of figuring out how we could actually make this, a real band. So it is kind of backwards, but it's a fun new learning experience for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it is. And as everything moves forward, and especially in the day and age that we're in now with Bandcamp and Spotify and SoundCloud and all these different ways to get music out there, one of the things I like to find out is when you're creating a song or coming up with a new song. I'll go to Federica with this. When you're writing a new song or something, do you ever take into account all the algorithms in the world nowadays when you're creating a song, or is it not even a thought? You're just trying to create the best song you can?
No. Like, you mean like try to do like the perfect song that could work on Spotify?
Yeah,
that's what they were. No, I have to be honest. No, I don't know if Matt think about it, because basically he writes the songs. I just help with the arrangement, and I sing with, and I write the lyrics. But I don't think about like those things. Like but I know bands that just spend a lot of time thinking about the perfect arrangement, the perfect vocals that could work, and I don't know, that could make them very successful. But I wouldn't do, like, I would never do that. I don't really care about these things. I'm being honest. I don't care. I just want to make something that like that creates like something particular to the listener. It gives emotion to the listener. I just don't want to think about like money or Spotify. Really, that's so sad, to be honest.
No, I appreciate that. And that's why I ask, because I know there is, people really work at trying to get that. Listen, it needs to be 3 minutes and 18 seconds long, and it needs to have this hook at, 1 minute and 12 seconds. And I appreciate the answer of, I'm creating the song, the best song that I can do. to evoke emotion
Mm-hmm.
in the listener. I mean, that's what music is, and that's why I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Matt?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, definitely for this project, I mean, Federica says I write the songs, but honestly, I'm just coming up with just ideas. I'm just like recording ideas, and then Federica really turns, we kind of work on them together and really turn them into a song. But I mean, so many times, like we'll record something that we love how it sounds, and I'm like, well, this song doesn't really have a chorus, or it doesn't really have, or it's only 2 minutes long, or it's 4 minutes long. Um, but if we like it, we like it, and like, um, that's all I really care about. Like if this, if the song, if we finish the song and it kind of has, successfully sort of like gives us that feeling we want from that song, then we're happy with it. Yeah, and you never know. You never know what an audience is going to respond to or not. So you can't really chase that. It's not really worth it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Federica, you brought up emotion, and I'm going to start with you. Do you have a moment surrounded with music that was, your favorite moment that had to do with music? Like just a musical memory that it's just going to stand there because the emotion was so high?
Um, yeah. Sure. Like I think uh in general a lot of shows of concerts I go to, like I have this like sort of sensation, but I specifically I remember when I went to the first concert probably, and to see this singer songwriter from Italy, Carmen Consoli. She was always been a hero of mine. And when I saw her live the first time, I was like mesmerized, and I was like so happy. I started crying, and yeah.
That if you have tears, that's a great emotional memory to music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Matt, how about you? Do you have a favorite emotional moment to music?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few. It's definitely like Federica was saying. It's definitely tied into seeing live music, I think. And I don't cry watching movies or anything, but if I'm at a concert or at a musical, like a Broadway musical,
Mm-hmm.
um, I I'll be crying, not from like if it's sad or something, just like just like I don't know, when like music, like I went to see like West Side Story on Broadway, and just like the orchestra, like playing the overture in the beginning was making me cry, because it's just like the music just like um kind of, I don't know, it just like hits you when you're in a theater. And I mean, even just this summer, it was one of the first big concerts I went back to that came back, was seeing Japanese Breakfast live. And she just came out and started performing the first song, and was like, it was just so amazing to watch, and I just kind of started crying. So I kind of have a lot of those moments.
Yeah.
Also, maybe it's a guilty pleasure, but the I don't know, the Beatles Cirque du Soleil at Las Vegas, the Love, I don't know, there it's like the Cirque du Soleil show, but it's all with Beatles music, and the sound system's amazing. And I don't, the opening of that, when I went to see that, I was just getting very emotional, and pretty much just waterfalls everywhere, just crying, kind of nonstop.
That's awesome.
It's just it's a combination of like the music and what the performers are doing on stage. I think that's usually what gets me.
Yeah. Now, Federica told me without me having to ask her, so I'll ask you, what was your first concert you ever saw?
So yes, that was, I think that was, no, it was another one. It was one from Italian sort of rapper, but it was not really a rapper, whatever. And it's called Giovanotti. and I went there with my mom and my sister, and it was beautiful because not only it was pretty good, it's a great performer, but it was also like they scented the air inside the venue. So for each song there was a different scent. So it was just, you could smell the song basically. It was just so weird, and it was like a great experience for me.
How about you, Matt?
I'm gonna say it was probably seeing like the monkeys at Six Flags Great Adventure. They had an amphitheater. Were you? You're from Jersey too, so
Yeah. So you were in Jackson at the amphitheater?
yeah. I grew up kind of near there, and we would go to Six Flags, and they had a concert, like a little amphitheater in the park. And I guess, according to my parents, like we all saw the Beach Boys there, like in the early '80s, but I was too young to remember that. But I definitely remember seeing like the Monkees and Weird Al on a double bill. It was like right when the Monkees got like kind of big again, because like MTV started rerunning those episodes. So
you just named two of my favorite bands in the Beach Boys and the Monkees. I mean,
yeah, the Monkees are just a great underrated band, honestly.
Absolutely, and their story's amazing. That they were, they were
prefabricated.
Yeah, they were basically a fabricated boy band. They were like, hey, we're gonna do a show about a band.
Yeah,
and you guys are the actors in it, but now you're actually became a band, and that's
and they turned out to be like really kind of trippy and progressive in a lot of weird ways,
Yeah, and Michael Naismith created MTV.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the movie Head.
Yeah,
let's all drop acid with Jack Nicholson, and just came up with like some crazy trippy movie. I mean, the Beatles couldn't even do that.
No, it's one of those things that I think they get overlooked for the talent that they actually had. I mean, the fact that their biggest hit is, by Smash Mouth kind of pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He did I'm a Believer, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a great song. I mean, can't deny it. They had the hits. So many great songs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to ask an end of the world question. I'm going to start with Federica. An asteroid is coming to the Earth, and you have 5 minutes left to live, and you have to listen to one song. What song would that be?
Oh my God. I hate these questions. I hate. I would say probably my favorite song, The Knife, Heartbeats.
Okay. How about you, Matt?
I'm gonna say, oh, that's a hard one. I guess I'm gonna say Tears for Fears. I know I've probably said this in other. It is one of my Desert Island songs. Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good, I don't know. If you had one last song, it's good. It's got everything. It's got everything I need.
All right. So I phrase this differently, but I'll start. Federica, is there a band that you absolutely love that just never lets you down anytime you listen to them or they release music or you go back to it?
Mm-hmm.
Rolling Stone would categorize it as your favorite band, but I categorize it as a band that never lets you down that you love to listen to.
Yes. So The Knife, as I said before, I love probably it's my favorite band ever. The Smiths, then Bjork, Stereolab, and probably Broadcast too. Yeah.
All right, there's a lot of bands that will never let you down. That's awesome.
Yep.
How about you, Matt?
Well, I always say my favorite band is Belle and Sebastian, but I don't know, their last few albums, I don't really listen to them that much. For me, I think a band that I think every album they put out is great, and I think they're another underrated band is the New Pornographers. Just because I mean, I don't know, I love all of those albums, and I just think you know, every album they put out to me is just like never really dips in quality. It's always just like consistently great. And Carl Newman from that band is just such a great songwriter. So yeah, I'll say the New Pornographers.
Yeah, well,
they're great.
See, I like how you did the favorite band as opposed, to the point where I went to, someone that doesn't let you down, which is, I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. Like, I have my favorite bands, but I've kind of been let down by them sometimes. But I mean, there are other bands in my life that I just know that it's just going to be good, and I'll always go to them.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we go from there, and when you guys are going to get ready to, are you going to try to play a bunch of shows? I mean, I know things are coming back, and you're now in New Orleans, and Federica, are you still in Brooklyn? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm in New York City. Yes.
Yeah. So how are you do you plan on, when things are full circle come back, do you plan on putting together a tour and getting out there, or is it just this is your thing now?
We are going on tour, actually. Go. You can.
Oh yeah. We are definitely gonna try to. I mean, tour. As much as we can realistically. We just we're doing some shows in November, like a long weekend tour, and I'll be back in Brooklyn next week. We're playing a show in Brooklyn and Philadelphia, so yeah, we're just kind of taking it as we can. But we're definitely, I think, hoping for like next year. We definitely want to play more shows. It's just a question of how we want to go about doing it. If it means trying to do a tour here and there, play some local shows when we can. It's still, things are still uncertain, but it looks like people are being cautious, and every venue I go into now asks for vax card and masks. So yeah, we're definitely planning on doing some more touring next year. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing that, luckily for all the shows that I've gone to so far and the ones that I've coming up, there was only one that canceled, and that when that one canceled, then I just thought it was going to snowball, but it hasn't yet. So fingers crossed. But it was, seeing how things came out, I was very nervous. The first show I went to, I just didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was going to feel, how I was going to feel. I was very uneasy. And honestly, the minute that first note came in, everything went away. I was just like, okay, I feel 100 times better. And it has to do with music. I mean, it was that, that visceral feeling that you get when you hear a note for the first time. And it just, I was like, I feel better. It's almost like everything went away for that hour and a half that I was there.
Yeah, same. I mean, I think everyone's really just kind of excited and ready to go back out there and play music. It's just, you just have to be careful and see what, kind of take the temperature of what, what's happening, with COVID and everything. But, yeah, we got to play some shows so far, and, it's been good. It's, I'm personally really excited to play live again, play more.
Well, I'm excited to hopefully get to see you soon perform live, because that's going to be awesome, and it just gives me something else to look forward to. So, great. All right. So I don't want to keep you guys all night here. So we'll start to wind this down a little bit. What I'd like to do right now, and the person who goes second is going to have a better shot at scrolling through Spotify or Bandcamp. But this is our weekly 3 segment, where you have 3 things that you're listening to right now that you'd like someone else to listen to. And it can be new, it can be old, but 3 things you're listening to right now, and I'm going to start with Matt.
Thank God.
Okay. Well, I got to say the one band that I've been listening to a lot lately is this band Moontype from Chicago. They have an album that's amazing, and every song on the album's great, but the song When Will I Learn? So that's one. When Will I Learn by Moontype. The other band I'm listening to now that I love is Ducks Limited. They're a Canadian band. What else? I just discovered. I have to look at my Spotify. Recently played.
That's what everybody does, and that's totally fine.
I just discovered this band called Astral Brain. They're all
Astro Brain?
Astral, Astral. And they're kind of like stereo labby, kind of cool retro, almost like tropical, psychedelic. I think they're Swedish. And I don't know, they have a few singles out on Spotify, and I was just discovering them. So those are the 3 bands I've been listening to a lot lately.
Nice. Federica, what 3 things are you listening to right now?
I am currently listening to Demian Jurado. So a few albums from him, and it's very talented. I really like his voice very much. I'm listening to this artist from Brooklyn, Rosa Bordallo. She's very good, not very known, and she doesn't play a lot of concerts in Brooklyn, but she is extremely good. Her songwriting is very, very good, so I recommend her. And then I'm listening to Cocteau Twins' Bluebell Knoll a lot recently.
Awesome. That's a great 3. Now's my turn. I'll give my 3 for this week. So when I first heard your album, what it brought me back to, and it's weird how you hear something and it reminds you of something you haven't heard in probably 25 years. But there was a band called His Name Is Alive.
Oh, yes.
Out of Michigan.
I know him.
Yeah. And so I went right back to the album Mouth by Mouth that I remember getting in 1993 when it came out. And I don't know why it did, but it brought me to that. And that's what I've been listening to lately. Number 2 is a band called Stars of Track and Field, an album called Centuries Before Love and War, indie rock band out of Portland, Oregon. And
it's
last
a
but
Bell Sebastian title.
Yeah.
I think that name came from a Bell Sebastian title.
It did come from a Bell and Sebastian title. Yep. Nice. And number 3, the Rocket Boys. They're an indie rock band out of Austin, Texas. Really good, really laid back, cool sound. Really into them. There's an album called Certain Circles that I've been listening to. So those are my 3 for this week. What I'd like to do right now, Matt, if you would, I'd like you to give you this opportunity to tell everybody how to find everything that Phantom Handshakes is doing, how to find all your stuff, all your handles in the world that people get to look up.
Cool. Yeah. We're pretty much on just like Phantom Handshakes, at Phantom Handshakes on Instagram, Phantom Handshakes at, Bandcamp. We're on Spotify. Luckily, we don't share a band name with anyone else. So if you just, that's always handy when you come up with a band name. Yeah. You always gotta do a Google search first. So if you just look for Phantom Handshakes on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, we're there. And we're going on tour in November. We're playing Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Boston, Providence, and Albany. So if you're in those areas, just go on our Instagram. You'll find those dates.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for being here. We appreciate you. Appreciate the music you're putting out. We look forward to seeing you in the future. And for everyone out there in the world, you know what to do next. Go out, listen to Phantom Handshakes, and have a great fucking time.
I'm sorry to be this way, but I don't want to be left alone in this house.
Why not?
Please wait till my husband gets home.
When is he coming back?
I don't know.
Think? No.
Summer is here again. Avoid your feisty mess. Enjoy yourselves and the cricket sounds. The bedroom is so hot. Your sweat is dripping up. You fall asleep to the cricket sounds. The sky is blue and white. The sun is beating down, merciless. And the radio plays the tunes that we know. We dance to the summer songs. Once your mama came upstairs. She yelled, she screamed, her eyes were red. No more summer songs. The sky is blue and white. The sun is beating down, merciless.
Are you always as much afraid of being alone? I don't like it. Is it why the dogs go to bed?
Colors are all mixed up. The stars that shine and burn. Where is the rain? You whistle your favorite song. Always little in a arm. I miss the rain. I miss the rain. Emotions are all mixed up. The stars that shine and burn. Where is the rain? You whistle your favorite song. Always little in a arm. I miss the rain. I miss the
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band. And don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.